it's Lilith, and I'm joined here by the final participant for my Mörk Borg campaign, Carthannas.
Hello.
He's one of the affiliates over at Infinite Live. Anyway, he'll be playing with VMAX in future sessions. For now, I'll introduce the game to him.
Alright.
Right, so the source book of Mörk Borg describes itself as a doom metal album of a game, a spiked flail to the face, rules light, heavy everything else. One day, all will blacken and burn, just the two-head basilisks have predicted. The world is dying, time is short. How will you face these last days? Robbing graves for soil-stained wealth, or face down the apocalypse, hopes it can be fought. So, essentially, this is a very dark game, but it's tongue-in-cheek. Are you familiar with a series of unfortunate events?
A little bit, yes.
Yeah, so I think it's kind of like that, actually. It's rather grim, but it's intended to be absurd just how grim it is.
Right.
Right, so first up, I'll tell you about the world of Mörk Borg. A key component to the world is that there are two-head basilisks, she and he. The two-head basilisk, she, has many spawns and inhabit the world, one of which is the other two-head basilisk, he. What's interesting about he is that one of his heads, Veru, there's prophecies about the end of the world, and time again, these prophecies are proven true.
Alright.
So anyway, my campaign primarily takes place in the Western Kingdom called Wasteland. This was once home to peace and wealth when Lake Under gifted fish and the river thrived. Now terror and despotism stalk in the secret citadel of the sad but gaudy king of Shurshik, King Fatmouth the Night schemes. Paranoid, fat, and increasingly mad, he is consumed by psychosis and invisible fears. Obsessed with prophecies of Vaheru, the king raids and invades houses and villages, barns and temples. Nowhere and no one is safe, especially the poor. Taxed into starvation, the contents of their larders and storehouses are crafted off by Fatmouth men. So, in a nutshell, Wasteland was once a vibrant place, but now it's anything but, and it's ruled by a paranoid king who oppresses everyone.
Right. Okay.
So, to the west of this is the Valley of the Unfortunate Dead. Rumors whisper that the basilisk he is called within its crypt, a site infrequently survived. Lies and legends enshroud the valley, obscuring any truth. Peddlers' tales say the soil, the very air, is lethal, bringing a sleepless, stumbling death. There's no clean fate, but slow-growing, fathomless despair weighing down the traveler with poisoned memories and dark thoughts until a spark of life is mutated into mournful, hopeless death. So, to sum up, the Valley of Unfortunate Dead, as the name would suggest, is largely populated by the undead and is a very miserable place, and the basilisk, he, the one with the head that predicts the end of the world, is rumored to reside there.
Okay.
Alright, so, anyway, that's it for the world. The world building is very vague, so it'll develop as my campaign comes along. And, hi Just Seagull, congrats on getting first, and hi Blank 7th. Anyway, on to the actual rules of the games. This game is described as an old school Renaissance game. The basic principle of it is that, firstly, it favors role-playing over rules, so
Alright.
a lot of things are left up to interpretation. The game master, that's me. This game is particularly rules light, and also it's not designed to be balanced. So challenges are real in this game. So you should probably try and avoid combat or situations which you're not sure you'll be able to survive. Right, so anyway, instead of a bajillion abilities and skills like a lot of role-playing games, there are only 3 abilities that I checked. Agility, which you use when defending, checking balance, swimming, or fleeing. Presence, which you use to perceive, aim, charm people, and use powers, which are magic that I'll get to in a moment. There's strength, which you check when you need to crush, lift, strike, or grapple something. And toughness, which you use to resist poison, cold, heat, and survive falling. So whenever there's something which it isn't certain, which success isn't certain. Anyway, I go to sleep. I just want to be there for the start of the stream. Alright, thanks for popping in. Anyway, whenever there's something where the outcome isn't certain, I'll call upon a ability check. So a d20 will be rolled. The stat modifier on your character sheet will be added or subtracted to the total. And if the total is greater than or equal to the difficulty rating, like 10, 5, whatever, then it's a success. If you roll a 1, then that's a fumble, so not only do you fail, but it has additional consequences. But if you roll a 20, that's a critical, so not only is that an automatic success, you get an added bonus. Right, so anyway, on to combat. In here, rather than having initiative for each individual participant in a battle, there's initiative for the enemies and initiative for the players. A d6 is rolled to determine that. If it's 1 to 3, then the enemies go first, but if it's 4 to 6, then the players go first. When it's the player's turn, whoever has the highest agility makes the first move, or if everyone's agility is equal, then I'll just figure something out. Anyway, when attacking, you'll test against strength. Typically, you'll need to roll a 12 or higher.
Okay.
If it hits, then you make a dice roll for whatever weapon you're using, and that's the damage done. The enemy will roll for their armor, and whatever result they get is subtracted from that damage. Okay, when you're defending, you roll for agility. So again, typically you'll want to roll a 12 or higher. If the enemy hits you, then they roll for their weapon and you roll for your armor, and yeah, same deal. And for range, that's just like a melee attack, but you roll for presence instead of strength. If you get a critical when attacking, then the damage done by your weapon is doubled. And if you get a critical while defending, then you get a free attack against the enemy. But if you roll a 1 and get a fumble, then while attacking, your weapon is broken or dropped. And if you're defending, damage is doubled to you. If your HP goes to 0, then you are broken. And a 4 thing could happen to you. You'll be unconscious for a number of rounds determined by a D4, and you'll awaken with health determined by a D4. Secondly, you might get a broken limb or lost eye, and you can't act for D4 rounds, and then you'll recover with D4 health. Thirdly, hemorrhage. You'll die in 1 or 2 hours unless treated, and all tests will be harder. And fourthly, if you're really unlucky, you'll die. If health goes below 0 and negative, then you'll automatically die. Right, so anyway, next up is powers. So that's basically magic. Powers you get... powers... You gain powers by collecting unclean scrolls or sacred scrolls. Unclean scrolls are basically black magic, which are used to harm enemies, whereas sacred scrolls could be considered white magic, and they can help people. So you roll presence plus a d4 every morning to determine how many times you can use a power you have that day. So when you use a power, you need to roll 12 or above with presence. If you succeed, then the power is activated. But if you fail, then you can't use powers for the rest of combat or an hour in game time.
Right.
And if you get a critical, then the consequences could be very bad on you. Like, could cause damage or become dizzy or whatever. As for if you get a success, a critical success, I'll determine that based on the situation. Right, and this game doesn't really have conventional leveling up, but whenever I decide, your character can improve their stats. You'll roll 60-10 for HP. If the result is greater than or equal to your current maximum HP, then I roll a d6 to determine how much your HP is increased by. You'll roll a d6 to determine treasure you get. And as for abilities improving, a d6 is rolled to determine if an ability goes up or not. But if it's a 1 is rolled, then an ability could actually get worse. But it can't go lower than -3, and it can't go higher than 6.
Okay.
Right, so so yeah, basically there's not a lot of rules to remember. Basically, I'll tell you what you need to roll, so just tell me what you want to do, and I'll tell you what you'll need to roll.
Okay, got it.
Right, so anyway, on to character creation. Have you decided on a class you'd like to play as based on the zip file I provided?
Not quite yet.
Right, can have a look, otherwise, you could just say, general sort of, character launch players, and outside what classes suit that. So like a fighter or a mage or whatever.
Right. Let me kind of look through here. What classes are you allowing?
All the ones in the document I provide in the zip file. So in the player guide, there's Abyss of Hallucinations player guide, and there are some individual PDFs for specific classes.
Okay. Right, so I got them open. Let's see. So, Pale 1.
Is that what you like to players, or just reading out what you're finding?
This one looks kind of interesting with because it's not quite human. So that's one option.
Alright.
See, the dead god's prophet. Mm-hmm. Not that one. It's the cursed skinwalker. Interesting. Cursed goblin hunter. Was the cursed goblin hunter like a goblin?
No, you hunt goblins.
So someone is turning into a goblin. Maybe. Brazen blacksmith. The blacksmith seems kind of like normal guy. The songbird. Oh, you see her? That's the bard.
Yep.
Do you know what class BMAX is playing?
BMAX is playing as a child of Pan. That's from the Abyss of Hallucinations player guide. That's a very
That's
very nimble class. That has some magic abilities.
So I should be something maybe a little tanky.
Yep. If you like.
Songbird. Interesting. Hold on, let me look in the list of hallucinations. Mm-hmm. Passes, here we go. Decurve the left-hand path. That's magic. Mountaineer. Hmm.
And any class you're leaning towards in particular?
Kind of feel like the blacksmith would be the best in terms of like gameplay. I kind of like the pale one narratively, so I'm gonna go with that one.
Alright then, so anyway, if you open up the zip file, right, the AOH character sheet fillable, is a PDF which you can, type onto already.
Alright.
So, anyway, this character sheet completely has a naming table of its own if you want to use that. Come up with a name.
Name. Oh, you call yourself 3D20?
Right, if you want to use that to come up with a name, in the server I've set up, there's a dice roll channel, so if you type /roll and what you want, like D20, so...
Roll.
What the... Okay, there we go. Okay, so type /roll D20.
$18.
18, so unknowing another D20. Unknowing reflects. And another D20. Unknowing reflects the rats. Is that the name you want to go with?
Sure, we'll stick with it since it's already rolled. Unknown.
Alright, so anyway,
rats.
So
the class.
Class, pale one.
One.
Right, so first up, give me a D6 and multiplying that by 10 will determine how much silver you have.
Alright.
So roll D6.
6.
Okay, so you have 40 silver. on a
Got it.
D4 to determine how many omens you have. Omens. That's something I forgot to talk about. These can be real lifesavers. So if ever you're in a pinch, you can call upon an omen, which is recharged by every day. Anyway, you can use an omen to deal maximum damage with an attack. Reroll a die. Lower the damage done to you by d6. Neutralize a critical done to you or a fumble done by you. Or you can make a ability check easier by 4. Right, so
Alright.
Mayway. Give me a...
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah.
4 omens, lucky. Right, so... Anyway, now for ability roll. Let me just check I get right this time. Alright, so what's... Okay, so... Abilities are determined by 3d6 and... Some are modified by class. So, anyway, first up, roll for agility. Give me 3d6. So, what's that? 3d... Yes, 3d6. Right. 11 for agility. Okay, you get a +1 on that, so that's a modifier of 1 for agility.
12 for a +1.
Wait, so on the character sheet you'd write +1.
Okay.
Right,
So
so next presents, give me 3d6 again.
3d6.
Okay, and again you get a +1 bonus because you're class, so +1 on presents.
Alright.
Okay, so give me 3d6 for strength.
3d6 for strength. Huh.
11. Getting a lot of 11s, but anyway, that makes your strength modifier 0.
Strength modifier 0.
Okay, and give me 3d6 for toughness.
Would I get a -2 for strength?
And no for... Nope, only -2 for toughness, which is the next roll.
Ah, okay. And then the roll 3d6. Ah, something not in the 11.
Alright, so... your toughness modifier is -3.
-3.
Alright, so give me a d6 and I'll use that to determine your HP.
D6.
Yep, just one.
Yeah.
Alright, so add that to the toughness modifier, so your maximum HP is 3.
Okay.
Alright, so anyway, if you want add something to your origins, then a d6 can be rolled for that.
Alright. Hold on. Origins. I'm gonna roll a d6.
Okay, 5.
Five.
So you are hatched by an egg laid by a bog witch in Wasteland. Huh. Fitting, since that's where I'm setting the campaign.
Oh, that works out.
Right, so anyway, on to equipment. Roll a d6 and that will determine what weapon you get.
D6. Alright. 5.
Okay, 5. Okay, you get a warhammer which does d6 damage.
Alright. More hammer does d6 damage.
Alright, and
Got that.
give me a d2 and that will determine what armor you get.
One.
Okay, so no armor.
There we go.
Alright, and now for something that I often forgot with character creation, the general table. So, first up, give me a d6.
6. It's a 2.
Okay, so you get a backpack which can hold 7 normal size items. Alright, so
7 items.
give me a d12.
Roll d12. Right. I didn't like that. Try again.
Yeah, it does seem a bit picky.
There we go.
Oh, okay, you get a bear trap, which you can place anywhere, and if an enemy doesn't spot, then it does d8 damage. And finally, give me another d12.
Three.
Okay, you get a small but vicious dog. Give me a d6.
6. That's a 5.
Alright. It has 7 HP and it does bite damage of d4 and it will only obey you. Right,
There we go.
right, so with your class, each day you can use one randomly rolled power. So just as a test, roll a d20.
Hold on a moment. Let me copy and paste this into D20. D20 is going to be 19.
19. So in that case, you get a Rosos consuming glare. Well, this is counted as a sacred scroll, but it does damage to enemies. So D4 creatures lose D8 HP each. So every day, your power will change. But that'll be the power you'd have then. Right, so anyway, for blessing, give me a d6.
D6.
Okay, 5, so you have digitigrade limbs. I'm not sure how to say it, but anyway, you can escape any bindings and fit through tiny spaces. Anything that involves flexibility are easier by force. So, say if you want to roll to escape, then I might make that difficulty of 10, but in your case, it would only be a difficulty of 6.
Okay, that's useful.
Alright, so I'll take a screenshot of that and place that in the characters channel. That would be appreciated.
Okay. Screenshot. Let me zoom out. That it fits. There we go. Send that. Copy. That's the characters. Paste. Here we go. Is that good? Can you read that?
Yep.
Okay.
So,
excellent.
Anyway, let's run through some mock scenario.
Okay.
Let's say you're tied up by ropes. Give me a d20.
D20. Very well. Just gonna do that. Go, a 19.
19. So for that's pretty high. So for that, I'd check agility, which in addition with your modifier would come to a dirty 20. I give it the scenario a difficulty of a 14, but in your case only 10, and so anyway, that's all pretty pretentious since that's a high result. So naturally, you manage to wiggle your way out of the ropes. Anyway,
Nice.
now for something tougher. Let's say you ate something but foolishly didn't cook it first. Give me a d20.
D20.
Ooh,
That's an 18.
that's lucky. I will have given the difficulty of... Wait a moment, oh. Yeah, I decided to give that difficulty of 60, and your modifier is -3, so that only just fails, so... So, in your foolish decision to not cook a meal, you become sick. So, anyway, the lesson here is try and avoid things that may not be successful for you.
Alright.
Anyway, now onto a mock battle. Also, put things in HP tracking for reference. You'll be battling against a single goblin, but you won't be alone. There'll also be a prowler with you. So anyway, for dice roll, and I should make that roll. Okay, so the result is a 1, so the goblin goes first. The goblin attacks you. Give me a D20.
D20.
Hey, ooh, so the goblin hits you for... For 3 damage. So how much HP did you have?
Exactly 3.
Oh, so... So you get knocked out. Won't bother with the... result of being downed. For now, we'll start over, so I'll roll for initiative again. Okay, but the goblin still attacks first. This time I'll have it attack the prowler. So I'll roll for it. Okay, and it hits the prowler for 4 damage. So how much? Wait, does the prowler have armor? Okay, the prowler has leather armor, so it rolls a D2 to determine how much is subtracted from... So 1 damage is negated, so that comes to 3 HP, so the prowler now has Alright, so anyway, it's your turn to attack now. Give me a D20.
Right. D20. 18.
Okay.
Plus 0.
Goblins are fast, so instead of 12, you need to roll a 14 to hit or dodge. That's a success. So, you have a warhammer, so,
6.
Whoops. Okay, so roll a d6. Okay, 5, and goblins, they have ropey skin, so okay, it negates 2 damage, so that comes to 3. Alright, many enemies have a morale, so if they lose a lot of their health, or if their leader is defeated, then they need to make a morale check. So what's rolled for that? Okay, 2d6, so anyway, goblins have a morale of 7, so okay, 11. Despite being half dead, the goblin is determined to fight on, so it attacks you. Give me a d20.
D20.
Oh, and it hits, so for 3 damage. Once again you're downed. Let's just say the Prowler defeats the gunman, so let's see. As for you, give me a d4. Oof, that's unlucky. That would result in death. So, yeah, that proves my point that, sometimes the best option in tricky situations is to just avoid them.
Alright.
Right, so, you understand the game perfectly fine?
Yep. Makes sense to me.
Right, was that? I think that just about wraps it all up then. The next session will be with Victor and Pazuzu, but after that, the session after that will be with you and B-Max.
Okay. And that's on second to last Tuesdays?
Will I be Tuesday or Wednesday for you, depending on my schedule. Anyway,
Okay.
I think it'll probably be Tuesday for you, and maybe Monday for Victor and Pazuzu. Anyway, now I need to find someone to raid.
Alright. Well, thanks for walking me through this.
No problem. Aha! Faris is playing Valheim with polyps and jelly.
Alright.
Alright. Thanks for watching, everyone. Hope you all enjoyed this.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.